could you imagine? Could you imagine how swollen your would be? Girl.
Maggie.
I'm just saying.
Megan.
4 days of
that out.
No, ma'am.
Girl,
I'm just saying. Welcome to the Got Her Back podcast.
It's Monday, Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite day.
Same for you.
I love me a Got Her Back Monday.
Yeah.
What you been up to, girlie?
Oh, you know, smiling and profiling.
Smiling and profiling.
Yeah, girl. What are we going to talk about today? The little Diddy and Cassie.
Oh my gosh. I'm
trial?
seeing it come across my feed like
Girl.
every 2 seconds. I see it on the news. It is actually very heartbreaking, like things that
It
I do
is.
see, but I don't know a ton about it.
Oh, girl. I've went down the
and I
rabbit
know that
hole.
this is supposed to go on for 8 weeks. Did you know that?
Oh,
And
there's so many witnesses.
yeah, 8 weeks. So this is going to be like
Could
pretty.
you imagine being big belly pregnant and having to be up on a stand and
I
recount
know.
that?
I feel so bad for her.
I do.
What was really sad to me was I was listening to the radio on the way here, and I was hearing that they were like, their defense is like, they've went and got their whole cell phone conversations and everything and pulling those out, and the defense is reading what he said, and then they're forcing her to read her portion of it and basically saying that she enjoyed all this and she liked it and shaming her and all that for it. And I just think that's not fair.
No, it's not, because I think for me, that resonated with me and you. Like, I mean, so many people have asked, my ex's family, some of his family members asked, well, you had us fooled, why'd you stay so long if it was really that bad? And people just don't understand if they've never been in that scenario or situation. When you're with somebody and you're trauma bonded to them and it's a cycle of abuse, you learn to, make your abuser happy. And it doesn't mean that if you're being abused that you don't love them or you think you're in love. You know what I mean? You can still, unfortunately, love not a good person.
Yeah. And like in her case, like she was fearful. I mean, you see the video.
I mean, he is beating
You see the
shit
video of her,
out of her.
him beating her in that hotel room out in front of a camera. So what is he doing to her behind the closed doors and everything? So you're thinking that she's not going to be like playing that role. I mean, I would think that a lot of women would kind of play that role for fear. He's blackmailing her. He's holding things over her head. And I did not know that whenever she was young, when he first signed her, he signed her to a 10 record deal and then only ever released one.
Yeah, he held it over her head.
He held that over her for so long. Anytime she made music and wanted to release music, he wouldn't allow that because he didn't want her to get close to the end of that contract. She never got close to the end of that contract. That's sad.
It is sad.
And she's got to feel like, she's probably wasted her whole, career, which she didn't. She's, she did unfortunately lose all those years and everything. But, and I think
of the
hopefully she
trauma.
can come back with some music. Like, I can't wait to see if she does that. She might not even want to, after all the trauma and everything. But it would be cool to see her actually have that come back, too.
That would be cool. But I think in the beginning, and that's kind of what came out in the trial, is like she admitted, she told the truth. Like at the beginning, yes, I was willing to do the freak offs. I did say yes, because I think she was, looking for a music career and wanting the fame, and right or wrong, I think she got in over her head, not realizing how bad it was going to be. And when she first started dating him, she thought that they were monogamous, like that it was just her and him. And the whole time for the first year, it wasn't until like a year later that she found out he was with Kim Porter, his wife, this whole time. And here he made it seem like, she's doing all these rendezvous and they're going to all these hotels and doing, she said they had only been together 2 weeks before he asked her to do her first freak off.
Oh my gosh.
And she did it.
Think of how much older he was than her.
Girl. And she said those freak offs would last anywhere from 36 hours to 4 days. Could you imagine? I can't even do it hardly 36 minutes, let alone 4 days. 4 days. I mean, she was on every drug underneath the sun, and rightfully so. Like,
yeah, you'd have to be.
You'd have to be. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine how swollen your would be? Girl,
Maggie.
I'm just saying.
Megan.
4 days of fucking.
Leave that out.
No, ma'am. I'm just saying.
$100 bill.
I'm just saying. That is a lot of fucking. 4 days?
It's sad.
I couldn't even do it is, but I couldn't even do 24 hours. I couldn't even do 12 hours.
Yeah.
I don't even think I could do 2 hours.
And then to be like filming this stuff and then saying you're going to release this and say how much you enjoyed it and all this stuff. And did I make this up or did I see on there that one of the male escorts was told to pee like in her mouth?
Oh yeah, they both did.
She had to allow that. And what?
Yes.
Did I see that correctly?
Yes. Okay. He would. So what would happen is they would go into these hotel rooms, and he wouldn't want people to know who he was. So he would put a wig on her, and he would put like a scarf around his face, and he would sit like in the dark and give commands. Or sometimes she would get started with like, say, a male escort.
Oh, he would hide his face.
Oh yes, he would. Okay. This is what the court reports say. I went down a whole rabbit hole, girl.
Yeah.
So they would, she would tell the escort like, hey, I'm going to give you, here's your money. Like whenever this man may or may not come out, she wouldn't say his name because she would try to protect him. She would say like, just do whatever his commands are and I'll give you more money later, but just follow my lead or whatever, so it's like she became robotic to it. So she would be, like put baby oil all over herself. Same thing for the male escort. They would start having sex. Then he would come out, sit in, like off in the dark with like a scarf over his face, and then would start saying like, do this, do that, pee in her mouth, whatever. Or sometimes he would join in, or then they would leave the room and then come back. Ugh. Yeah, could you imagine it? Or he would pee in her mouth. And then also it's very clear that Diddy likes men. So he would also, like be swinging both ways.
Could you imagine... it just like broke my heart. Well, it was actually very heartfelt to read her husband's statement.
Oh my God.
That he released, because people were like, oh my, she's having to say all of these things. Like, imagine like the shame that you would feel and the embarrassment that you would feel, and the conversations that they probably had leading up to this, of her having to kind of relive this and let him know, like, because this is so far from her life now.
Right.
Things happen when you're young, and then you're a mom now, and your kids are going to see this one day or hear about this one day. And it just must have been crazy for him to sit and listen to that and be in the same room as him. Like, how do you, as a man, like
compose yourself?
And I just thought his statement was just like touching, like it almost like made me cry, because
I know the things that he said were like, you didn't break her and you didn't take her smile.
And he also said that when people are saying that, like claiming that her husband changed her life and saved her, and he was like, I'll never claim that. She did all the work. She saved herself. Like, she's done all the healing and everything. Like, she's like actually brought, so much into my life. And I just thought it was so sweet.
It was so sweet. And it was good that he like made a statement, and then it was like that. Yeah, he did.
And please let us be. You know what I mean?
And because it's come out that like she went to try to break up with him and have one last meeting, and she was dating her now husband, and there were times that she texted, Diddy, and there was overlap basically. And so like that, it's just rough. And so for him to have to sit through that, I'm sure she was upfront, hopefully upfront honest.
She
with
would
like,
have had to be,
like what was going to come out. And then for her to have the thoughts of like wanting to commit suicide and just being at such a low and having to go to a treatment center, all of that happened. It's so crazy, just story after story after story. And I went down before the trial started. I went down the Jaguar riot, rabbit hole. And that, for years, that lady, if none of y'all know, you go on TikTok or Instagram, and she's sitting on a blue couch, and she talks in like, she always talks in code. So she calls Diddy the diddler. And so, but you can figure out who she's talking about. And she was in the music industry. So she, will tell you like, okay, well, Justin Bieber was sold by, she just goes through all these different celebrities, and it all leads back to him and his power and how he abused power. And, he just, I'm not sure.
He had the keys to the city.
Right. I'm just not sure that all the charges are going to stand. I don't know that they have enough evidence for that.
He has so much power.
Yeah. It's
and
just
his attorneys. Like, I really hope he doesn't come out on top on this. You know what I mean? How
Right.
some people get off and
That whole bipolar, I'm bipolar. He's trying to use that as well. I'm bipolar. So, I have angry episodes and this should be more like a domestic violence. I don't know. Like, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the right charges are.
and they're saying like having a freak off is not illegal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it questions your morals and things like that. But all
where
these
he's going to get into problems or trouble is because the underage. When he had the underage people, that's sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And so that is where he's going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
I think.
I really hope.
Yeah.
He does not. And then, did I read this right? Because I think I just saw this posted. I didn't fact check this. That Justin Bieber came out and basically was like, he never did it,
anything to me. Yeah,
like
I mean, he's saying that, but
he's basically
I think he's going to say that.
And
but
I'm like, I think he's just scared.
I'm sure.
or-
I'm sure it's a shame. Do you want to admit that
Yeah.
like as a child, because it's not his fault. I mean, he was a kid
Yeah, it's
pop
so
star.
sad.
But if you look at his life now and like how he has like ran, did you know that Justin Bieber was broke? It's come out that he was broke and that's why he had to sell his compilation for like 200 million a few years ago because he had ran through all his money. And so it's like, that's why, and they are saying like his church that he's a part of is a cult. And I don't know about that, but I mean, who is going to admit? I mean, it's the same for all of those, singers. And would you want to come out and be like, yeah, like I am super talented and I have great music, but in order to get here, I had to, let someone take advantage of me?
Man, you got to sell your soul in that industry.
So yeah, I'm like, I am never trying to be a singer. Good thing I can't sing. I'm stick to my day job.
I mean, it makes you like really want to protect your children
Of
almost
course.
from any kind of industry type stuff. Is even like our kids being, with an agency and being told how beautiful they are and can potentially have, things working and everything. It makes you question things like that.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think I
don't think I would ever let our kids or our daughters like go to Europe or like no, I just don't think, I don't know. I mean, but
I'd be the one that was like there with them, like following them around, like
for sure.
Like
It's
certain
just
people in the industry where their parents like are known for being everywhere they are, like that would just have to be the case.
Yeah. It's just like seeing how Cassie fell in love with, someone that was basically beating the crap out of her and making her, yes, she made choices. Yes, she could have walked away, but the problem is that you get trauma bonded to somebody and you feel like you can't walk away.
What do you think trauma bonding? What is it?
I think it's just when it's so much, like
chaos.
So much. It's the cycle of abuse, right? It's like someone is nice to you to lure you in. And then they're mean and then you confront them and then the cycle starts all over again. And so then it's just like you keep the good times.
It's a loop.
Yep. It's a loop, a continuous loop. And the good times of the good get smaller and smaller over time. And you get addicted to that person. You get addicted to thinking like, okay, they've shown me who they can be.
Yeah, and you're wanting that potential.
Right. And you're thinking like, okay, if I just do this, they'll love me. If I just do this, they'll change. If I just do this, they'll go back to that nice person. And that nice gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And I've been there. You've been there. So many women, so many men have been there.
Where were we sitting? I feel like I was with you when the Diddy tape came out and we were traveling somewhere and it rolled across the TV, but there was music on in the background and it was looping like everywhere we were.
Well, we were in Canada because we went for my work trip
and I was
together.
Like, what is this? And it was just, yes.
And it's just like the feds had just raided his house.
But remember when he first came out and was like apologizing and everything?
Yeah, of course he's going to. But then he also made like a freaking TikTok and had his little kid on there saying, saying all these celebrities' names and then like having the little boy repeat those names and saying, if you don't start answering my calls, I'm going to put you on blast because everybody was turned. Oh, you didn't know about this?
No.
Oh, girl. He sat and did a TikTok, had his little boy. Oh, yeah. And he'd say, Beyonce. And the little boy would go, Beyonce. Because he wasn't even big enough to even say some of the names. So he would say them and have the little boy repeat every name.
And so what was he doing with this?
Oh, just basically threatening them.
And
Threatening them through a TikTok. Basically saying, like, if you don't start answering my calls, I'm going to put you on blast. You've been to my freak offs. You know, like, everybody's turning against me. Like, I want you to know,
Whose
like,
all name did he
oh
say?
my God, you better go look it up. We'll put it on our shorts.
Oh my
We're going to
gosh,
repost it on our
what?
shorts. Yeah, it's crazy. And he like it has them all written on paper. It's crazy. Girl, yeah, and it names Jay-Z, Beyonce, so many, Justin Bieber, so many celebrities.
Do you think anything's going to come out with J-Lo or anybody like that?
I don't think that anything's going to come out. I figure people.
they dated.
Here's the thing: is people don't change, right? You can't mask who you are. You can't just miraculously be some great new person, you know, in the next So what he did to Cassie, now who knows if J-Lo did freak offs, right? I don't know if he was doing freak offs then, but I have to believe that he probably was abusive, verbally or physically or both.
Yeah,
you know, like I'm sure he was controlling, but I don't think she can get in trouble now for like he shot a woman in the face. He wasn't meaning to shoot her. He was trying to shoot a guy, and J-Lo had his gun in her purse. Now, she lied and didn't get in trouble, but I don't think they'll go back, you know, I think because of the time and because it's already got acquitted, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything will come of that, but it's just you have to think about Kim Porter. Like, I think he probably killed her.
I do too.
And he's been linked to so many, like Biggie's death, like and Tupac's death, and he's at the hands of so many people have mysteriously died around him of all the same like pneumonia or flu-like symptoms. And so I think that people they feared him, you know, like, okay, he'll ruin my career.
Wasn't there a victim that wasn't showing up, or they were scared that wasn't going to show up?
Yeah, juror number 3
or whatever.
They can't find him. I'm sure he got to him somehow, or his people
crazy.
did. Right.
A witness
Because they were like Jane Doe or John Doe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
already missing and not coming forward, and they're like, we really need this witness.
Right. And even if they subpoenaed them, they didn't know if they would still even, you know, come forward. So it's like, oh my goodness, you know, like what in the world? And think about it. If you were in fear for your life, if you were getting your ass beat every day and you were basically doing freak offs,
people
every
around
week,
are dying.
like, you have to be in a stupor. You know what I mean? People around you are dying, and you're like, you know, and you think you're in love, like, you're not going to leave. You're not going to leave. I know, it's rough, girl. I just didn't see where this is totally gonna go. I mean, I think it's gonna be like stretched out. And how many people, like Kid Cudi, you know, he said they're saying he was on the stand, you know, a few days ago, and you know, he put a Molotov cocktail like put in his car because that was like one of their biggest blow ups, because Cassie was cheating on Diddy with Kid Cudi. Well, he can't. The problem is Kid Cudi can't prove that Diddy set his car on fire. He thinks he did, but he doesn't. He doesn't know for sure. There was no fingerprints, so that's going to probably like help the defense.
And then, do you know what Usher came out and said?
What did he say?
I don't know. I was just
the story is
roll up that he like, it's shocking like what he went up and said, but I meant to go back and like see what it was.
Well, the word on the street is that like he was abusing Usher first, and then Usher put Bieber with him to get him off of him. Yeah. And so then he went on with his career, and then, you know, Justin Bieber became, but there's so many, like, I mean, literally, there are so many accounts of like assistants and bodyguards of Diddy raping. Like, they would wake up and like he would give them, you know, like some kind of drug, and they would come to, and he'd be like, hold on, let me finish. Hold on, I need to finish. Or like, you know, and so he was
people
just
that worked for him.
Yes, men, a lot of men.
Imagine being a man and that happened to you,
girl. And I mean, imagine how many men he's done that to. Women too, clearly, but it's just like it's a power thing. I mean, like, you talk about like abusing power to the 1,000,000th percent. I mean, that is just, it's unreal.
Dang. He just thought he was invincible, like, there for a while, and he has so many videotapes. Like, where are the tapes?
They were a lot of them were in his house, and they have a lot of them, and they're playing them for the jury. So they had to prep the jury and say like, hey, this stuff is going to, be shown or whatever. And his daughters and his sons were in the courtroom, and the daughters would have to keep walking out and leaving the courtroom. Could you imagine watching your dad have sex with like another man? Or whatever it is, or the abuse. Yeah, because that abuse tape of him going after Cassie trying to leave a freak off, that was actually like a 45-minute video. And it was cut down to, we saw 30 seconds or a minute on, CNN or on all the news channels when it came out. So imagine what that looks like. 45 minutes.
It was 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
When I was watching it, I had never watched her like get to the elevator, and it's almost like she was moving in slow motion, and I'm like, she must have been drugged or like stunned or something, because she was just moving so slow. She puts her things down, she's putting on her shoes. I'm like, girl, push the button. I mean, but she's like moving in like the snail speed, and then she looks up and then she pushes the button, and I'm like,
yeah, you're just button. Like, you're sitting on the edge.
But you can tell she's moving very like slow and not coherent or something.
Yeah, one of those girls from Dana Decane, Dawn, testified that like he saw in his house like him throw a pan full of fried eggs at her and hit her over the head like with a frying pan, and she had a black eye, and then they had to go to a movie premiere or some kind of premiere, and so she was like out of solidarity, like we both wore sunglasses. And so it's just, it's just absolutely like it's monstrous. He is a monster.
Aubrey O'Day is the only one that, I think she's the only one out of Dana Decane that did not take the little bit of money and sign the NDA. And when I say a little bit of money, it was like
nothing.
I don't even know if it was $1,000, Megan. It was very.
He toured them. They made so much money, and he took all their money.
He took all of their money, and when he finally offered them, because they were so broke, here, I'm going to give you like $1,000. I don't quote me on that. Yeah. It was very little, because I was like, when Aubrey O'Day was coming out and saying that, she said, I begged them, do not sign that NDA. I'll give you that amount of money. Like, you're going to need this voice later on one day, and he can't do this forever, and she's been saying it forever, and people thought she was crazy.
Yeah, all the people that actually spoke
but he
out.
Was like wrong to her, like he treated her like dog crap, you know. And, all of them,
and they were super successful. Like they were a great band, like a great girl band, and they could have kept going, but he just ripped it out underneath them. It's just like an abuse of power.
I think that's just
total abuse of power.
Yeah, and it sucks because I love some of his songs.
I know, girl. It's
I
just
can't
like
play it anymore.
I can't either.
R. Kelly,
it's not allowed. I can't. I don't.
You can't listen to that here, but it's like
I'm not Robert Kelly. I'm
but
out.
I love some of his songs. I'm like, what the hell? He was so talented and great with music.
I used to drink Ciroc. Not anymore, girl. That is a red flag. I am not drinking Ciroc. I'm gonna have to go with Tito's.
What do all of you think about the Cassie and Diddy? We're really fresh in. It's only like one weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hit this again, like when we get to the end and see like what kind of charges. But we're gonna hit you guys up on our socials for sure, and let's keep talking about it, and let's we want to hear from you guys, and you guys let us know like what do you think, like what about these theories? How do you feel about the abuse? How do you feel about the cycle abuse and getting sucked in and not being able to leave, or should she have left sooner? It's hard if you've never been in that situation to be like, oh, you should have left.
I think this was her career and her dream, like her ultimate dream, hanging in this one person's hands. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he keeps telling you that he's gonna release it. You're gonna get your day. You're gonna, and just like keep stringing you along. And then when you're strung along for so many years, you're like, well, I've already done this. I think this is what women do. Well, I'm already 10 years in. I've already wasted 10 years of my life. You know what I mean? I think that's something that we tell ourselves too, is like, we wasted 10 years of our life.
Well, I think you don't at the time when you're in it, you don't see it as wasting. You don't see it as wasting until you get out and you're like, that was a waste. You know what I mean? But when you're in it, you're like, What can I do to make them love me? What can I do, for them to change?
You just want to turn it around and salvage the
I've
time.
invested this much time. Like, at some point, surely they're going to get it together.
Especially as a woman, when you have like your fertility clock ticking and you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. You have a date where you're like, I only have this much time. You know what I mean?
The shame from tolerating that you carry, and you get to such a low from all the projection, and you start to believe all the things and all the lies, everything that's ever been told to you.
Yeah.
Like, you're just at such a low that it's like the possibility of the thought of trying to leave. Like, you just like,
I could go on and on and on.
I could too.
Yeah, I feel for her. I really feel for her. And I'm really like nervous to see what all comes out. But I really hope this man doesn't like
get off scot-free.
Because we've seen so many.
Surely he's got to have some kind of charges. I don't know what something because if not, he's not going to stop.
Yeah, he's not going to stop. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know
what you think, and make sure you subscribe so you can see what continues to go on. And this was fun, Megan.
It was
a good little switch up. Follow us.
Meg's Unfiltered over here.
Inspired by Carrie and Got Her Back podcast.
Whoop.
Bye.
Bye.